Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 128 is brought to you by XMDB, one of our newest Patreon patrons. This week, we welcome Nina as a full-time host on the podcast. Nina, Sergio, and I will be discussing the latest content updates and covering a lot of fun additional news the Animal Crossing community has gotten over the past week. So to begin, hello Sergio, how you doing?
Hello, Chuy. I'm doing pretty awesome. I'm really enjoying the way the game is developing with this first major update that we're going to be discussing. It's so exciting how it's being done, and it paints a great picture for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And before we get too far into that, I do want to officially welcome Nina to the show as a full-time co-host of Haken. So hi, Nina. Glad to have you.
Your
Hi.
third co-mayor now. Thank you guys so much for inviting me to be on permanently. I'm very flattered and excited and scared and excited.
Yeah, no, every time you're on the show, it's always fun. It's always really great. And just in general, I don't know, you bring a really great perspective about the game and everything. So I just figured you're always around, not in a bad way, but definitely in a good way. And whenever you're on, people are just like, Nina's got the best laugh. Just keep bringing her.
I've been working on it my whole life.
Yeah. So, I guess just so it's official, I guess we should have you introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, I've been on, a couple times before, but it's been a while. So I guess I was thinking I could go back to just introducing, like, how I got into Animal Crossing and kind of just who I am. So I'm Nina.
Yeah.
But I use
Yeah,
Grizzly.
that sounds great.
Yeah. I use Grizzly a lot on platforms like Discord and Twitter, just because bears are kind of my spirit animal because they're sleepy and I'm sleepy. So I don't know. I've always used bear as like me online. And they're grumpy, and I may not sound it, but I like to be grumpy sometimes too. My first Animal Crossing game was Wild World. I played in high school. I would play during breaks at my part-time job at a craft store. And then in college, I played City Folk in between classes. I loved City Folk. And then when New Leaf was coming out, got really deep into the Animal Crossing community, especially like Tumblr was really big back then for New Leaf. So I did a lot of stuff there and kind of just fell in love with the community. So when we started growing more for New Horizons, just, wanted to reconnect with that community. And here we are. I love it. I love to draw. I love Disney. I love roller coasters and animals. I drink a lot of tea. You guys know from the last episode that I've got that pirate island. I like to make QR designs, and I post those on Twitter too. And then my day job is teaching elementary school art and Harry Potter camps.
Yeah.
That's my nutshell, I guess.
Yeah, which I know you've been kind of worried about because it's probably looking like it's not going to happen this year, which is a bummer.
No, and teaching has turned into this really weird, like now I'm just making videos all week of my lessons, which I'm not used to. I had to like jerry rig this like filming type situation so that I could show my hands and my drawings. It's been weird, but I've fallen into a nice rhythm and I've gotten some great emails from the kids, so it's been fun, just weird. But yeah, I think Harry Potter camp is out.
Yeah, but it's also awesome. You sent me a video, I subscribed right away, and I showed it to Jackie too, and she was like, this is a really fun lesson.
Oh, good. Yeah, I need to upload them. I have so many now. We've been doing it for 7 weeks now, which is unreal to me. And I'm doing at least 6 lessons a week. So I want to upload them onto YouTube so that they don't ever get deleted,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's really crazy that it's been that long now that you've been doing it.
Right? It's bizarre.
Yeah, but it's awesome. It's really cool. I really like how they've been turning out, at least the one you showed me. So I am excited to see more of those.
Yeah, I got to get on top of that this week. That'll be my goal.
Yeah. Also, you have the coolest job if you can just like play Wild World. Or you had the coolest job if you could just like sit there
Oh,
playing Wild World
well,
the whole
it was
time.
probably more of like my high school, didn't care what what I was doing at my jobness that did that mostly.
Yeah, well, it's cool. um, Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. I think it's going to be really fun for the show from here on out. So, yeah, I hope people are excited for you as well. And from our community, I think we've heard a lot of real positive, kind words your way that have come your
Yeah.
way. So, yeah, I think people are excited to hear from you for sure.
Well, and that's the best part about Haken too. Everybody is so welcoming. It's so different and welcoming and loving and helpful. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess let's get into the show because, with 3 people, it's probably going to be a little bit longer from here on out, which I don't think anybody really minds. Sergio, you and I have been running long for a lot of these episodes anyways.
Yeah.
But, there's just so much to talk about, and this week is no exception. We just got a huge update for Animal Crossing New Horizons, so this has added a ton of content, and it looks like it's essentially going to supplement the game through June. So they have a lot of stuff planned out. But I have these things kind of listed out so we can talk about them as we go. The first one that I mentioned was Leif's Garden Shop. And this update now has Leif as a full-time visitor of our island. Not full-time, I guess part-time visitor. But he'll, come to the island. He'll sell us special shrubs, rare flower seeds that don't necessarily appear in our own shop, and basically just look really cute doing it as well. So Nina, what'd you think of this huge update?
I'm really excited he's joining our like regular rotation of people that come to the islands, like Kix and Label and everything. I think it'll be kind of a welcome change. Plus, like if we can have a visitor every single day of the week, that would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I always feel kind of sad when there's nobody on my island that day.
Yeah.
Just because there's there's already so many visitors, and any day without one, I'm just like, oh, I guess that's one less thing to do, even though I already have a million things to do every time.
Yeah.
But Sergio, what did you think of him showing up?
Yeah, I'm very glad to have him back, at least in this form. Maybe in the future it's gonna be a little more permanent, but for now, this works. We can get shrubs every now and then and save up for when we need more. I'm just really hoping that as soon as possible I can buy lilies from him because I don't have any in my island and I do not know why. Like they're so rare.
Yeah, that's the weird part with the flowers in this game. It's really like you have to go out and find other people with them and like shop at their places to get them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
like I feel like you just see some rotate all the time around your island, but others just like never show up,
Yeah.
Like Cosmos are ones that I don't ever see on my island.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have 3 that show up regularly and 3 that I never see. So I'm wondering if that's normal for everyone.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I mean, I feel like I've seen most of them at my place, but some of them pop up more, I guess, seldomly on my place.
Yeah.
Like the windflowers and mums, I don't see as often as, like, I think roses and tulips are at my place, like, constantly.
Wow.
Yeah. The other thing, I guess I wanted to ask you both too, like, Sergio, did you buy any shrubs? Have you started decorating with them at all?
Oh yes, I bought a bunch, and I just for storage purposes, I bought 10 of each just to have them there, just in case. But I also bought plenty to start planning around, replace some fences with bush hedge type of decorations.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And then,
nice.
did you do you remember which bushes were or which shrubs were the option for you when Leaf was over?
I know I'm pronouncing them wrong, and it's on purpose. Azalea and Canalia. I just pronounce them that way
Oh,
to
yeah.
keep them similar.
Yeah. The azaleas, I think everybody had azaleas that day because they're the spring bushes that bloom in the
Yes.
spring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that which I'm not sure how to pronounce it either, camellias. I think that they're winter blooms.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
interesting. Because I know the hollies were winter back
Mhm.
in New Leaf, and then,
Mhm.
well, my shop had the tea olive starts, and those
Oh,
are usually autumn. At least the
Yeah.
olive starts were autumn in New Leaf as well. And then,
Mhm.
Nina, what'd you have again?
I had the tropical ones that starts with an H.
Hibiscus.
Yes, thank you, hibiscus. I
Yeah.
was about to say hyacinth, but that's my flower. Yeah, hibiscus, which I'm excited because they're going to be nice and tropical in the summer.
oh.
Yeah, I really hope we can make some Jamaica, agua fresca de Jamaica out of those.
Oh.
Well, essentially, there's like this drink that's pretty popular in Mexico. A lot
Mhm.
of agua frescas are popular, but I personally really like Jamaica, which is hibiscus leaves or flowers that are turned into, just a really nice drink. So
Yeah.
it'll look kind of like, the coconut drink. I don't know if you've gotten that DIY. Very fun tropical flavor for sure.
Yeah, and I have those out like in my spa area, which is where I planted a bunch of the hibiscus bushes, so I'm excited for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's a perfect spot
Mhm.
for them.
Yeah.
um, it, I'm kind of like torn about them being like seasonal blooms, Like it's very cool because
Yeah.
it's like fun to see them pop up at different times of year, but it's also like I want to see them bloomed all the time.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess this does bring a little bit more reality to that real time clock and kind of because I talked about this on a video I made where I was just like, I feel like the game does such a good job of capturing real time and everything, and this is just another example of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, we got Leaf. He's really cute. It's always fun to talk to him, but that's not the only part of the update because we got tons more. One of the big things that Leaf has actually helped us with a little bit here and there, but we are now celebrating Nature Day. So for those of you who don't know, Earth Day happened last week on the 22nd. The game wasn't updated until the 23rd, so we had to wait a little bit to celebrate. But they did give us a whole, I think, a little bit longer than a week worth of Nature Days celebrating, and it's taking place from April 23rd to May 4th. This is
Mhm.
essentially just a bunch of special Nook Miles Plus tasks that we get. From what I've seen, it's been one daily. Is that the same for both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
usually it's like one and it's a times 5 bonus. So you get like
Yeah.
a good amount of Nook Miles if you do it. And yeah, I guess, have you both been having fun with those at all?
Yeah, I like the variety in the challenges. For example, mine was pretty unique today. I had to, gather flowers and then craft a crown, which I hadn't done before.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
yeah, I like the variety. And like you said, you get a good amount of miles from those.
Yeah. Mine was really sweet. It was like send a letter of thanks with flowers.
That's a
Oh,
cool one.
Yeah.
I
nice.
really like that. All of ours were very different because mine today was wear a flower on your head.
Oh,
So,
that one's easy.
yeah, I mean, it was very easy for sure, but it was like, oh, it's actually like teaching people because a lot of people don't know that you can take the flowers and
Yes,
use them
yep.
as accessories, you know?
Yeah.
I actually keep a few flowers in my closet in case, like, some days I don't really want to wear a hat, but I want something there, so I just like wear a flower instead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in this case, I was just like, well, I'm outside and I'm real close to these windflowers here. I'm going to pick one of these red windflowers and just wear it. And so it was a quick, easy task. But yeah, I'm really liking the variety I've seen from them. I think I actually missed the one I had yesterday, which was the wreath crafting one, like out of flowers.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
the,
Those are tricky. The crown and the reef, that it's like you're really having to go out of your way to do something for those extra miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now that I think of it, it was crafting a crown for mine, and I actually forgot to do it
Okay.
yesterday, which is a bummer because it was 1,000 Nook miles, which is a good amount. But the day
Mhm.
before, it was just like plant some hyacinth flowers, and luckily I had
Ah.
some in my shop because I was like, oh, I don't know if I try to keep now a backlog of flowers in my closet in case I want to use them. But yeah, in this case, I was like, oh, cool, I can just buy some and plant them.
Yeah, yesterday I had plant pansies and they were luckily in my shop. So hopefully that is kind of synced up with the Nook, miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like they give you tasks that are most likely doable within that day, you know? There must be like some sort of, I guess, code that they put in to make it so. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really digging all of these things. The other thing, I guess, that we were able to get was that Tom Nook provides us with a recipe for a new hedge, which works a lot like the fences that we already have in the game, but it's just a hedge instead of a fence, you know?
Yes.
So Nina, I think you wrote some stuff on this. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, I love this hedge recipe, and I've seen on pictures of people with the southern hemisphere that it changes with the seasons, which is really going to make it even better.
I was literally telling Jackie today that I was like, I really hope this changes with the season, because if it doesn't, I'm not going to want it as much during my autumn time.
No, it'd be like AstroTurf if it didn't change.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm also surprised that like completing those Nature Day Nook Miles don't give us daily rewards more than just Nook Miles. Because I've kind of racked up on Nook Miles. Like, I don't need any more.
That's kind of true. Yeah. I typically stay above 40,000 on my Nook Miles. So I've got quite a few racked up. And I mean, the days I use them, it's just like, all right, I'm going to buy 5 more street lamps because they're the best.
Yeah. And I can only go on so many like Mystery Island tours before I'm just over it.
I get over it like really quickly, mostly because this last one I went on, I was not going with the intention to get more trees for my island, but I ended up with a bunch more trees for my island because this one had a bunch of cedar trees, and I was just like, well, yeah, you're coming home with me, buddy.
We know that you can't resist the cedar tree.
I can't, and I don't even know what I was looking for. I think I'm looking for a bamboo island right now, just because I want to go and chop some bamboo, get a lot of those recipes crafted. And it's also because, like, I really like the green leaf piles, and those require 1 young spring bamboo. And so, I have a good bundle of them right now, but I'm just like, I'm going to need a lot of them. I also want to know if that recipe changes with the seasons. I need somebody to tell me that.
Well, and this young spring bamboos are seasonal materials, right?
Yeah, they are. I think they only come out during the spring, and I don't really know what time period that is so far,
Yeah. So really everybody needs to be going out and getting as much of the young spring bamboos that they can.
Yeah, I mean, I racked up on the cherry blossoms before the season ended. I was just like, well, I don't know when I want to craft one of these things, but if I do, I want to make sure I have the blossoms for it. So
yeah,
I racked up on those. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to say, just as a side note with the fencing in general, but I saw a conversation on Twitter with a lot of other Animal Crossing YouTubers, but BR Many posted that, the first time we saw the little picket fence in the game, it was actually a white picket fence versus like the kind of brown color, the tan color we kind of have.
The lattice one too.
Yeah, the lattice one too. Drama responded with that one. And then I think somebody else posted another picture of a fence that I don't know if we've even seen in the game. I'm not sure.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Man.
But I kind of responded, and I was just like, I don't think I mentioned this, but I think I did. But I would have hoped that we could have customized the fencing to change it into different colors. I feel like that's the easiest way, instead of just having us collect a whole new recipe for the same type of fence, but just in a different color,
Yeah. Because I'm sure people would want like either that blue or like a pink or something for some like fairy towns. It should totally be customizable.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to leave out of the game. The other thing, okay, I really need to ask both of you this, because I was on a walk with Jackie today just before we were recording, and I was like, you know what item I haven't seen in a single person's town yet? that oil barrel that we saw in the trailers a lot, where it had the fire burning under it.
I have.
You do?
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it.
Because I was like, there's some things that they showed us here that I'm not seeing, and
Yeah.
it feels like it's taunting me. It's like, look at all this cool stuff that you don't have.
Well, and there was a barrel at my store the other day, so I bought it waiting for that DIY.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good call. I think Jackie just got one as well, and she was like, "Do you want this? I think it'd look kind of good in your forest." And I was like, "It actually would, like a little chemical waste in my forest. I wouldn't mind that." Because the one she got is like pretty grimy, and I'm just like, I really like this.
Yeah. Well, order yourself a couple more so that you can get that DIY.
Yeah.
But there's that one that with the little fire under it that turns it into like a camping bath, but there's also like a fancy iron one.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that one at all.
There's a ton of DIYs.
We're going to keep finding new ones for sure. And they're going to keep adding new ones too. So
I hope so. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the hedges are fun. I've used only a couple of them, but I want to spread them out throughout my town for sure. The other thing that I guess got updated was we have Red in our town now, and he's kind of, he's changed his image a little bit. He thought the crazy had run its course, and he's now going with Jolly Red. And so we now have Jolly Red's treasure trawler, which is essentially, he comes in a cool little boat. He goes and hides out on your secret beach because, if he's going to do some sketchy stuff, he's got to do it in a sketchy place. So it makes sense.
And I made a little sign for my secret beach that says beach closed to make it even creepier.
That is awesome. I really like that.
I love that he's a pirate, though. He fits right in.
Yeah, he's honestly perfect for your town. It's amazing.
I mean, I'm making his counterfeits for him.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, essentially he's bringing us art again and a couple pieces of furniture that we can, buy as many as we want from him. But yeah, I guess the big thing is really that it's the return of the art to Animal Crossing. We all kind of went into the museum it was strange, everybody was like, where's the art exhibit? This has been a staple of the game forever, but now we know it's back. And honestly, I think it works. Like, I was thinking about how, how you get Blathers in the first place. He's really just attracted there because of, like, the creatures, the wildlife that's there. And he's, like, he kind of comes under the impression that there might be some fossils. And then you get a fossil and you give it to him and he's just like, oh, yes, there are fossils here. This place is great, And so you get the fossils and stuff. And so it made sense for the museum to essentially start as just those things because, you're going to a very wild place, a deserted place, and there's not really going to be fine art lying around on the island. So it wouldn't make sense for that to open up an exhibit for art. And so now with Red in the mix and it opening up, it just feels like it works. It feels like the development process of obtaining that part of the museum is just like, it's perfect, to me at least. I guess, what did you both think of that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I remember you mentioned very specifically, like in the previous Animal Crossing games, we start and there's a fully built museum and it's fully decked out, but it's all empty. And it kind of doesn't make sense. So the way this is progressing, especially how you explain about the art exhibit, yes, definitely very well done.
Yeah, and like the art history nerd in me was so bummed at first that we didn't have the art, but now I'm so excited. And the little mini game that Red has on his boat, which I don't know if it's really a mini game, but where you can zoom in and inspect the art to see if it's real or not, is just genius. Like, and he shines his flashlight on it. It's so cool.
Yes, oh my gosh, that whole place has like, they've built such an environment around Red too. Like you walk in and it is dark in there. Like
It's so
Yes.
I
dark.
bought an item from him and I was just like, I looked at it in the catalog right after it. It was the diner counter and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
it's blue. I could not tell that it was blue. Like it just looked like a black fancy counter. I mean, the blue one's still fancy, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so dark in there. And I was kind of scared going in and saying like, can I take a closer look at this? And then all of a sudden he like flashes a light on it and I was like, oh, okay, I can
So
see.
good. And you can move the camera around. And then, like, that in contrast with how beautiful the art wing in the museum is, with like the harpsichord music playing. Like, it's such a good update.
Yes, and oh, one of my favorite things about it is that the art, when you go and look at its listing, it actually gives you info about the artwork. I
Yes.
submitted
Yes.
Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, and
Hmm.
and it was really cool to see like some actual real info about the piece there, and because they've never like included the real name to the art before, you know. At least I feel like
No,
they
but
didn't.
they would give you some info, but yeah, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah,
That
it's
the only thing that I miss from that though is Blathers doesn't tell you about it. I do love that you get to go in and read about it, and I wish that they would
Hmm.
incorporate that back, like in New Leaf, that when you're in the museum exhibits, if you click on a fossil, it would also tell you about it.
yeah, I agree. It's quickly become my favorite exhibit simply because like I can go in there and learn something. um,
Yeah, yeah, which we used to be able to do. So I know I'm asking for everything, but I want Blathers to tell us about it. And when I go in, I want the exhibit to tell me about
Yeah,
it.
definitely. I know, I've only heard, I think in one video, I think it was Beat 'em Ups, who I love his channel, but for him, he was just like, and Blathers just keeps talking and he goes on and on and on. And I just want to donate this thing. And so he like avoids going to Blathers if he has only one thing and can't donate it at once. But I think like, aside from
Mm,
him, he's the only person I've heard say that.
I love
Everybody
it.
else
Well,
is just like,
it's
I want to hear all the info, so I donate everything one by one on purpose, you know?
his dialogue is hilarious. Well, and his name is Blathers.
Yeah.
Like, hello.
That's exactly
I
it.
love
Like that's
him.
his job.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so yeah, going back to Red 2, just like that whole experience is really great. From what I've heard from people, like there's some chances that you don't have any real pieces of art. There's some where you have
Mhm.
two that are
Oh
real,
my.
so it could be
I
really
had
hit and
3 of
miss.
4 that were real.
Oh, really? 4 or 3?
Yeah.
That's
3 out of
crazy.
4. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then that made me really bummed that I couldn't buy more than one, but I had some friends come over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess, can other people buy from him if they visit?
Yes. So you can't buy if you have bought from your red, you can't go to another island and buy another piece, but if you can have friends come and buy from him.
I
Hmm.
gotcha. So that's awesome. So if
Mhm.
Red's just, yeah, you both can come over right after this and buy my other pieces if you want. um,
Yeah.
but it's funny
Oh.
because Jackie and I, like, we were both kind of going through that process of looking. She actually went through it first because she was able to talk to Blathers the night of the update. And so by the next morning, she got the whole process started a day earlier than I did. And so I had to wait.
Mhm.
Um, so when I streamed it today, it was literally my first time seeing it and my first time getting to do it on my own. But when Jackie did it, she was like, she was inspecting them. She's taking pictures because we've both opted not to like look up any of the answers for any of them.
Yeah.
So we were just like taking pictures, and now I'm like, oh, I had the same piece as Jackie did yesterday, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a photo of this and see how different it is from hers. But essentially, both of our choices were based on like, okay, do I care if this is a fake piece of art or not? Because if it's fake and I can keep it, I'd just keep it and put it in my house, you know? But if it's
Yeah.
real,
Mm.
I guess I gotta donate it, and that's fine. But But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not really upset if I would get a fake piece. How do you both feel about it? How do you feel about it, Nina?
Ooh, sorry, you're cutting out again. Did you say
Oh
my
yeah,
name?
yeah. I was wondering how you felt about getting like fake pieces. Or, like, do you mind?
No, well, and when I went over to my friends to, because she had read and I didn't, I bought a fake piece on purpose because I wanted it in my like captain's cabin for
Oh.
my ship. So I don't mind, especially because in this game it seems like the differences are much smaller than in New Leaf. Um, like in New Leaf, some
Oh.
of the differences were almost comical, but
Yes.
so like I don't really mind if there's subtle differences, and I'll just hang it in my pirate ship anyways.
Yeah, and I feel like it just works so well in your pirate ship for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I will say with like the differences, they are approaching it a different way in this one. One of them I
Mhm.
saw posted by Drama and Mayor Mori were having a conversation about this. Both of them are colorblind, so they have some trouble
Ugh.
noticing some differences. And so one of them in question, Drama was like, "People are telling me that these are different because they're different colors. This is crazy. I'm not going to be able to
Mhm.
tell what the differences are." And
Mhm.
so Mayor Mori kind of chimed in because he's got the same issue. Like, he's colorblind, and he's like, oh, I can't tell that these are different. And so, yeah, some of them might pose some challenge for other people. They might need to have some friends come
That's
by and
really
help them out,
interesting.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
that's so
that's the one
interesting.
kind of bummer with like the direction they went with it, but I don't know. Overall, it's still so much fun, and I just don't mind getting a fake piece anymore. Like, I'm just gonna put it in my home because it's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, so we've talked a bit about the museum upgrade. We've talked about Jolly Red coming back, but that's still not it. There's still so much happening. And the next thing that we're going to see happen pretty soon, actually, on May 1st through the 7th, we're going to have a special May Day tour. And the way this is phrased, I kind of was looking at the press release and looking at the info that Nintendo gave us in the kind of update video, it's
Mhm.
confusing. It's a bit confusing because what they say is you can use a one-time Mayday ticket to go on a special tour. And I think where people are very confused is, what does one time mean? Like, are we going to be able to go on this
Right.
tour
Mm.
only one time? Or is it something that we're going to be able to do kind of like the Nook Miles tickets, where they're all technically a one-time use, It's not something you can reuse. You have to keep buying a new one. So yeah, I'm confused. I guess, what do you think, Sergio? Do you think it's going to be like, we can do this once, or each ticket just works one time?
Unfortunately, I think it's only one time, one time. Like,
Oh,
we can only go there once, so we better make the most of it. I hope that's not the case, but based on the phrasing, I think that's it. So, yeah, let's just make the most of it. And it's nice of them to allow for about a week time span in case some people can't play, a certain
Mm.
day if they made it very specific. But yeah, it should be exciting. It looks fun.
yeah. What do you think, Nina? Do you think it's one time for ticket, or one time total?
Gosh, I mean, I was going to point out that it's the first through the seventh, and why would it be one time if it's such a long time period? But Bunny Day was a whole month, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it is just a week to give people time to do it. I don't. I
Yeah.
want it to be more than once, so.
Yeah, I lean that direction too. I'm just like, why is this 7 days if we can only go once? Because
Yeah.
what if there's like some really cool special things that we can do on there? We do
Yeah.
know of one special thing that's going to happen, but we're going to see a visitor on that island, and it's a character that I'm sure a lot of people were sad not to see when they first took a plane to their island, but Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just say it, but we saw the back of Rover's head and his little sweater. And Rover, he's always, not always, I guess, he's often the character who greets us when we first start the game. And this time around, he was not. And so I guess, what are you thinking Rover is going to do, Sergio?
Oh man, honestly, no idea because at this point we're so established into our island. So I don't know. I expect him to do something very different, and it's nice. It's definitely nice to see him back. I'm just curious but excited about what he's up to.
Yeah. What do you think, Nina?
I don't know. I'm one of those people who's never been, particularly inclined towards Rover. So I have no clue. They really threw me for a loop with this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm just like, I don't know what he could possibly do, but whatever it is, it looks like more of a mission than other islands, Like we get a very different layout. There's these like kind of maze-like hedge fences that we have to make our way through, jump over little rivers, And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just like wondering, what could they possibly mean? What is Mayday? I don't know. Yeah, so once again, we're probably going to see it very soon. Like I said, it's April 26th right now as we're recording. This will be out on the 28th. So in a few days for all of you, Mayday is going to begin, and it's going to be available from the 1st to the 7th. So we'll just have to see what surprises it has in store for us.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, Friday. So soon. I'm excited. So the next thing is going to happen shortly after May Day, but we're going to be having International Museum Day, and that's going to take place from May 18th through the 31st, so the whole second half of the month. And I honestly think this is a great time to introduce this because we got a huge update to the museum. There's a whole nother section to it. We've probably, a lot of us have been playing for a couple months now, so I'm sure our fossil exhibits are nearing the completion point. The fossils tend to go pretty quickly because, they're not like locked to any season or anything, but, you've probably caught a lot of fish, a lot of bugs. A lot of those have filled up your museum now, and I'm sure, I don't know. I guess I'm wondering what we're going to do exactly for the International Museum Day, but I do know that there's going to be a stamp rally where we go and we visit exhibits and get a special card stamped, and we'll eventually get some in-game rewards for doing that. And I'm really wondering what those are going to be, and I'm also wondering if they're going to give us like some cool info on the fish and bugs and fossils that we've put in the museum,
I love to learn.
We love education here on Haken. Stay in school, kids. Well, don't go to school, though.
And the stamp rally pictures reminded me of, everyone's favorite game, Amiibo Festival, where you would go around and in the corners of the board, you would collect the stamps. So that's what it reminded me of.
Honestly, those stamps are like amazing in Amiibo Festival. I've never actually I've seen a lot of them, but one day I want to go and sit down and see what all of the final stamps are for each month, because even once you've completed the round and gotten 4 stamps, if you can manage to get 2 more, you'll get the full look at what it is.
It adds details. I hope that it'll be something like that, and you can get little extras on your stamp if you do something special.
Yeah, and getting a cool little poster for that exhibit would be so awesome. I was really happy with the fish print that we got from the fishing tourney. That one's so amazing. It's customizable too, so you can have some different fish on there. I want more of those.
It's like that
for sure.
Japanese gyotaku where they slap ink on the fish and then put it put it on the paper. It was really cool.
Yes. I'm excited about this. I love museums. I think they're really fun, and just having another reason to go in there is really great. So
Yes.
yeah, May 18th through the 31st, the entire rest of the month. We're essentially going to be like pretty crammed with things the rest of our lives, essentially. Because right after this is wedding season, and that's going to take place June 1st through the 30th. All of your friends are getting married on Animal Crossing, so you're going to be attending pretty much a wedding ceremony every single hour of the day, of course. But essentially, you're going to be able to head over to Harv's Island. We're going to be celebrating Reese and Cyrus's wedding anniversary. So they were already married, but, they're just doing some fun little pics, going on vacation. I know Cyrus needs one. That guy needs some sleep.
Yeah.
But we get to take their photos, decorate a little wedding venue for them. And then once we do that, we'll be able to get some wedding-themed items, which should be pretty fun for people. And this more than any of the other parts of the update screams the most Pocket Camp to me. Because like Pocket Camp, we get like essentially a month long of events, and so this one feels like one of those month long Pocket Camp events, but it's very different in the sense of like you're doing photo ops with characters. But it is a fun way to kind of like introduce some new special items to the game, because each event in Pocket Camp will introduce a new set of items, and this seems to be doing the same kind of thing,
Well, and I don't know anyone who really is using Harvey very much, so it'll give him something to do.
I've honestly gone one time and I did not even take a picture. And now I'm just like, I think I need to go back there because that's probably one of the Nook Miles goals that I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm at that point where I'm just like, I'm getting new Nook Miles very seldomly, at least like the really long-term goals. So now I'm just like trying different things to see if it does anything. Like I used the Rossetti rescue service for the first time recently, and unfortunately I didn't get a Nook Miles goal for that. Yeah, I was like, you're supposed to give me one. I mean, it's only 100 Nook Miles. It's only 100 Nook Miles to use, so I'm assuming you probably have to use it more than once to get that one.
Maybe.
But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. I thought I would get something for this at least once.
No, and the only time I've used Harv's Island was to scan my rodeo amiibo, because then you get their posters after you scan them on the island. And Rodeo's poster is him in a Harry Potter costume with a wand. So I put that in my pirate ship. I needed some Harry Potter in my life. So that's it.
I would not have expected that to be his poster at all.
No, me neither, because he's kind of like a little gothic looking bull, but in New Horizons they slapped one of those graduation gowns on him, and now he's like really into Harry Potter.
I love that. So Sergio, have you used Harv's Island at all?
Yes, when we first unlocked it, I had to see my boy KK in real, the real him. So I went, I got his poster. No, he didn't want to wear anything.
Well, that's cool. See, that's the thing with me. Like, I didn't even scan an amiibo in while I was there.
Oh, man.
So, and I have every single one of them. I don't know why I'm wasting my life here. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to let you both come to my island, buy some artwork. I mean, there's 3 more pieces, so Jackie can come too. You all can buy the rest of my art. And then I will, after that, just go and scan amiibo at Harv's place.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess of all of these updates, Nina, what is your favorite one?
From the updates that we just went through?
Yeah. Essentially, Leif's Garden Shop, Nature Day, all the events, Red. Which one's your favorite thus far?
It's got to be Red. I mean, him being a pirate, first of all, was unbelievable to me, and he's bringing me my favorite thing in the world, all the art I could hope for, and I get to learn new things at the museum. Like that checks all my boxes.
Yeah, that's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
So Sergio, what was your favorite?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Red also, and the biggest reason for that is because he's adding a task that is gonna take us a very long time to complete.
Yes.
At least for if we're not gonna use a guide for the art pieces,
Mhm.
it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna take a while, but it's exciting.
That's a
Mhm.
really good point, because this is going to be a long-lasting relationship with the guy, and you're essentially going to have a
Mhm.
lot of opportunities to see him and get fake art or real art, and
Yeah.
who
You're
knows
family
when.
now.
Yeah, we're cousins,
Yeah.
so he's going to be. You know what? Now that you all mention it. He's my best man at my wedding now. Wedding season's coming up. I think that's got to be my favorite part.
That's
No.
amazing. He's gonna pawn your ring.
Yeah, he'll find a way to get some money out of everybody that night. You know. But I think my favorite's still going to be Leif, just with like the shrubs are a really exciting thing for me. I think
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
island, those really fit because you've both seen my place where it's like
Mhm.
very natural vibe that I'm going for, and getting just some more greenery to use to really decorate it's perfect for my place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but red is easily going to be a lot of fun for this game. Cool. So I did want to go ahead and move on into some more Animal Crossing news, because even though we got a ton of updates to the game, there's still some really awesome things happening around the game. A lot of these are very focused around the community revolving the game, so that's kind of the focus here, but there's just some cool surprises. I actually linked an article for one of them, so that'll be in the description if you all want to check it out later. But before we get to that, I do want to start with some really cool things. Like, first off, players have learned that having guests water your flowers leads to higher chances for hybrids to bloom. And Nina, I
Wow.
think you wrote some notes on this part. What'd you say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add in really quick because it was such an interesting like community find. I have a good friend Michi who's been playing, and she like her favorite part about the game is gardening. She's the garden queen, and she had a bunch of people yesterday come and flower her garden. She was part of like the Haken Discord flower train that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she has this, so she had 5 people come, and she has this section in her garden that already has 15 black roses, and those 5 people garden or watered it. And she says normally when it's her watering the garden by herself, she'll get maybe 2 more black roses out of it, maybe.
Mm.
And that today she woke up and there were 9 new black roses and a gold rose.
Wow.
So that's a huge difference. Um, she said every single section had something new. There, like on days where she's watering it, sometimes she'd get 0, but every section had something new. And that when people were watering it, she could see those gold sparkles pop up to show that so many people had watered it. The people who are watering can't see it, but the person who owns the island can see those golden sparkles.
Oh.
That is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, I've been seeing like all of these things pop up on Twitter and our community
Mhm.
where people are just like, watering other people's flowers is super beneficial, and this is really
Huge.
unexpected. This has never been a mechanic. This is something definitely new, And
Yeah.
so I the other day, I was watching a streamer on Twitch. His name is Fish, and Fish was just time traveling to do essentially this. Like, he's really trying hard to get green mums in his island.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he was just like, he'd water some, he'd skip a day, go back, and then just keep doing that. And it was just like a really slow process with time
Yeah.
traveling. And he's time traveling to do this,
Mhm.
And then just to know that, like, instant results after a day with just having 5 people come over and water your flowers is
unreal.
It's incredible. This is so cool.
Yeah, to go from 1 or 2 blossoms of black roses to 9 is just really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge increase. And it's awesome because like it just gives you that much more of a reason to have more people show up and help water. And it also makes me wonder how it works with like people who share islands. I think we're going to have to ask Quantrell about this and kind of see if he can like because his island, he's got his whole family there. And so if they have a little flower pile, I wonder if they all water them and see even bigger results than we have. Because I've been doing my normal thing. I mean, I haven't really focused on the flowers too much this game, but when I do, I'm just like, oh man, I didn't get anything today. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ask him and have him on again.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this next one is a really, really cool one, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen this by now, but Elijah Wood visited a random person on Twitter to sell turnips, and I'm going to specify here because apparently people don't know Elijah Wood, but Elijah Wood plays Frodo in Lord of the Rings, and so he's, he's a famous guy, he's an actor, he does a bunch of different stuff, but he also plays Animal Crossing, which is honestly every celebrity who plays Animal Crossing quickly goes to my favorite celebrity list.
Right.
And Elijah Wood was already on that list for me. I just like him in general. And so seeing him playing Animal Crossing and, just visiting somebody is awesome. But basically, I read the story a little bit, but somebody posted their turnip price and then Elijah Wood contacted them. They posted all of these photos of it. They essentially got a DM from Elijah Wood that said, "Hey, can I sell turnips at your place?" And then they said, yes.
Yeah.
And
no,
so,
Frodo, you're not allowed.
Yeah, go back to the Shire. No, but he just randomly did this. And so everybody went crazy. That tweet went absolutely crazy. Even like on my feed, it got tons of replies and stuff. And I was just like, man, this is insane to see. And so, yeah, I don't know.
He named his town Elwood. That's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah, it's incredible. It's amazing. I'm so excited, especially because like I don't know how many people know this, but I'm just like a huge fan of Over the Garden Wall, and he voices Wirt in Over the Garden Wall, it's a mini series that was on Cartoon Network, 10 episodes. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it because it's incredible. But basically, I've been a huge fan of that show, and I've been telling Jackie like, oh, I really want to do this because it's very Over the Garden Wall-esque. I really want my town to be very much like that show. So I don't know, just seeing that connection, I was just like, can you all like tweet at Elijah Wood for us and tell him to be on our show, please?
Oh my god.
Because that would be incredible, first off.
Yeah.
But then that just sent me down a rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, he has his own podcast, and so I was listening to that. It's called Visitations.
Cool.
Yeah, because I just jumped on his Twitter, and I was like, ooh, what's this link? And then it went to an iTunes page with his podcast on it, and I was like, this is really cool. Yeah, so I don't know. I think he'd be great for the show, everybody. So, just tweet at Elijah Wood. Let him know that we're here. We're big fans and we want him on.
Yeah. Chrissy Teigen while you're at it, too.
Yeah, honestly, I also tweeted out like all of the different people, and other people responded with even more people who play Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, there's the band The Beths. They're a band from New Zealand. Another connection to Elijah Wood right there, because, Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. So But the Beths, they're playing Animal Crossing. I really like that band. Soccer Mommy
Cool.
has been playing Animal Crossing. Not a lot, I guess. She's actually started streaming recently, and she was streaming Stardew Valley the other day, and so somebody asked about her playing Animal Crossing, and she's like, "Oh, I've been playing it a bit, but I'm really like engrossed in my Stardew Valley town right now." So Soccer Mommy's one, Chrissy Teigen you mentioned, but some other people mentioned like Dylan Sprouse from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Or Riverdale, yeah.
No, Sweet Life is way better. I actually don't mind Riverdale because somebody told me it's like an Archie comic thing, like
Yeah.
an interpretation of Archie. And I used to read Archie comics a lot, actually. Like I would check those out of the library a lot.
Oh,
funny
wow.
enough. I had fun with those. But Dylan Sprouse from Sweet Life, and and then somebody mentioned I can't believe I forgot her, but Brie Larson.
Oh, yeah.
Academy Award winning actress Brie Larson. Definitely get her on Haken for sure.
Oh my gosh.
And then Kat Dennings was another one who was mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I like her a lot more now.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of really awesome people playing Animal Crossing, and you know what else do they have to do? They're locked inside. Come and be on the podcast. So we can just like geek out on something great together. Okay, so that's enough Elijah Wood love for today. It's never enough. I'm going to keep going later. But the next thing that's happening, and I'm kind of sad this isn't happening for New Horizons, but Daisy May is getting her own set of events in Pocket Camp for the entire month of, you guessed it, May. So yeah, Daisy May is coming to Pocket Camp. I haven't looked too much into it, but I did see like pictures of the items that they're adding to the game, and I'm just like,
yes,
Pocket Camp is still getting these really awesome items that we're not getting in New Horizons, and I'm so jealous of that, you know?
I know. I
mean, I don't have to be
start playing again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't need to be jealous because we could technically play that game. But I mean, do we want to? I kind of want to for Daisy May. She's so cute.
But at the same time, it may just be that when you buy turnips from her, you get an item. The next day, we might get those items that way.
Have you? Can I have I have a question. Have you gotten anything different from bamboo sprouts from her?
Good point. I don't think so.
Okay, because and once you said that, I was like, oh, do we not just get bamboo sprouts if we buy from her? Because now I'm wondering. It's usually like a pack of 3 bamboo sprouts that I've gotten. You know?
Yeah.
I want Daisy May items. Maybe they should do that. For the month of May, give us some Daisy May items in New Horizons.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, little farm items.
Yes, everybody's already making like really cute farms. Jackie actually just put one right next to her house, which is really adorable. But, you know, Jackie's recently gotten into the stock market because she saw me make 2 million bells in one go one day. And she was like, you should be ashamed of yourself. You 1%er.
You make it sound like it's a drug.
No, she was just like, I want all that money. But no, she's recently started getting some turnips. She doesn't buy a lot. She only bought about 600, which is like 6 bundles in your pocket, you know?
Yeah.
Usually people go a lot crazier than that, like myself. I now limit myself to 1 pocket full of turnips. It still gets me obscene amounts of money. But like Jackie last week, she sold, I think, 4 bundles and made 200,000 bells. And she was like, this is cool. And then she saw the benefits later on when she was like, usually I spend all day fishing or something trying to get all this money for just to pay off like an incline or a bridge. And now I just have the money for it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, now she's like, she's dipping her toes in. She bought 600 this week, like I said, versus like my 4,000. But yeah, she's having fun with it. She's having fun, and she's now tracking her prices and keeping up to date on the stock market. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so this last piece of really awesome news comes from the developers of Animal Crossing themselves. They did an interview with CNET over the phone. Nintendo went ahead and translated this interview for CNET as well, just so they could have a transcript to share with us. And Ayakyo Goku actually said some really awesome things. The entire interview is really worth listening to. I was reading it and I was just like, Jackie, I wish somebody at Nintendo would talk to us about this game. It's not going to happen from what I've heard and how Nintendo kind of keeps their development processes very secret,
Yeah.
But regardless, CNET, they're big enough to get this kind of thing. So we get to benefit from that. So I'm not complaining there.
Yeah.
But basically...
and I love hearing anything straight from Ayakyo. She's
Yes.
our queen. She's
Yes.
lovely.
Yeah, she is just like... She truly knows the game inside and out. She embraces it fully. And yeah, I mean, she's just like... in charge of the Animal Crossing series at this point. Like, she has a lot of influence on how Pocket Camp runs, a lot on like how Amiibo Festival went, and like all of the ideation of what they've done with Animal Crossing thus far is like it's in her brain. Like, she knows it all, and so she just keeps bringing really awesome things to the game. And so, speaking of that, she expects her team to keep giving us updates for Animal Crossing New Horizons for the next 2 to 3 years. Amazing.
Yeah.
Sergio, sorry, what were you gonna say, Nina?
Sorry, I know that we're having some trouble with audio. I mean, but that like goes along with what you were saying, I think last episode, where it's a living, breathing game that we're gonna have for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're going to keep seeing a lot of things happen in this game that are going to be surprises. And so I do want to read the quote directly from the article. So she said, Animal Crossing is a game where you're able to enjoy seasonal changes throughout the year, and it syncs with real time, and through that, you're able to basically sync your real life with the game. We want to make sure that in 2 years or 3 years down the road, people will still continue to find new surprises in the game. So we hope to create an update that you can do that with. So it sounds like they're just really aiming to work with this game for a very long time, especially with like, I totally forgot to write down this news, but Animal Crossing is essentially like the fastest selling game of all time at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has beat Call of Duty. I know a lot of people kind of joke around about Call of Duty and stuff, but fact of the matter is, like, that game is huge. That series is huge. It always sells millions upon millions of copies. And to know that our Animal Crossing is doing that and just being incredible. One of the most amazing things about its sales is that it has outsold every single Animal Crossing's lifetime sales to date right now.
Oh, wow.
That at least that's what I've heard. And, we're not going to get really hard numbers on this until I think next month when Nintendo is holding their financial meeting with their investors. So we're going to get some really serious numbers on this. But all of this kind of came out based on data from March. Like, we have gone in through April. It's still making sales. It is still going sold out off the shelves in Japan. Like, it's insane. And so, like, the info that we necessarily know is like maybe through mid-April, maybe most of it is just March, but next month we're going to get some really solidified numbers on how Animal Crossing has been doing. And I think it's basically just become Nintendo's biggest game of all time.
Yes, exactly.
This is what we expected. We knew this game was huge. But yeah, I guess, Sergio, how are you feeling with this game essentially going to live on well beyond this point?
Oh, it's amazing. I know you very specifically discussed in the past, it takes at least a year to fully review an Animal Crossing game. I don't know. I feel like in this case, it's gonna take, like they're saying, 2 or 3 years, and that's amazing because we were already ourselves prepared for a long wait for the next one, and we were kind of
Mm,
dragging some things out or making very long-term plans. But I guess with these mini, um, I don't even want to say bite-sized updates because the way they have been pretty big as of
yeah.
late. But I'm sure they're not gonna be all this substantial, but if they're gonna be this constant and it's gonna be for 2 or maybe even 3 years, that's crazy long time. And it's gonna be a journey. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well, and you
sure.
guys play Splatoon a little more than I do, or a lot more than I do. But how long did updates go for Splatoon 2? Was that just a year?
I think they went for a good 2 years,
Two
and they
Yeah.
years.
actually
Okay.
just updated the game this past month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's still like kind of kicking. I don't know. Nintendo is just like really great about supporting a lot of these games and keeping them going for a while. Um,
Well, yeah, that should give us hope too. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this team, Aya Kyogoku, like I said, she works wonders with the game. She knows it inside
Mhm.
and out. There's this really cool point in the article where the person asks them, "Do you ever reach the end of a game and think, oh, I wish we had added this?" And both Nogami and Kyogoku said, "Yeah, I mean, Nogami, he's been part of the development process since I think Wild World, maybe even the first one." But he
Wow.
directed Wild World and City Folk before Kyogoku finally came in at New
Hmm.
Leaf. But basically, he said, yeah, a lot of things were really only happened because the hardware was capable of making it happen. When
Mm.
they finished, they said in this interview, when they finished City Folk, they were really sad that they realized later, they're like, oh, we wish we could have made simultaneous play on this Wii game, where essentially the party play now, where it's like two people can play Animal Crossing together at the same time
Ah,
on the same
right.
system,
Yeah.
same screen. They wanted to add that way back in City Folk, but they didn't have that realization until after the game was done. And so this is something that's been a long time coming,
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really great interview. It's really worth listening. And Aya also said, like, yes, we have a ton of ideas, and we're very happy. She said specifically that they were happy with what they were able to put into the launch of the game, but some things might have been held back just to add later, but they also don't know what types of ideas they're going to have in the future. I think Nogami mentioned,
Mm.
like, society is always like changing, and we try to implement real life aspects of the game real life aspects of the world into the game. And so we don't
Mhm.
know what those aspects are going to be later on, but we do, they're planning on just supporting the game for a while. So
That's so cool.
I
That's so
know.
cool.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, I've linked this in the description for you all. It is so worth reading. It's one of the best interviews that I've seen from that team thus far. Especially like
Mhm.
the first ones that we're gonna get. There's still gonna be a little bit closed doors about a lot of the game because it's not out yet. They want
Mhm.
reviewers to have a fair impression of the game as they send out copies to get reviewed and everything. But now that it's out, I feel like this was the first major interview that I saw from them post release, and it was really enlightening to hear, like, even hear from Aya Kyogoku about how they decided on making the deserted island setting. So
Mm.
it's a great read. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. And then, like I said, the sales are they're off the charts for this game. It is huge. I'm so excited that so many people are into the game. I'm so excited that Elijah Wood is into the game. And yeah, just seeing it like hit so many people at this time, it's a great time for Animal Crossing. I think a lot of people were they're in a position where we're all we just have to stay inside. That's the best thing we can do for our world right
Mhm.
now, is just stay inside and wash
Mhm.
our hands and play some Animal Crossing. That's your escape from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. um Cool. So yeah, so many cool Animal Crossing things happening right now. I know a lot of people are very frustrated with how quiet Nintendo has been lately. There's not a huge amount on their docket as far as releases go. Like we have some idea of some things, but you know, a lot of people are still waiting for that huge Nintendo announcement. But I think for us, we're just like, we got it. It's Animal Crossing.
We're living it.
It's here, and just being able to live in that world is exactly what we needed. So yeah, it's wonderful. I hope people are now like taking their time to, you know, just get exposed to what this is and why people are so crazy about it. All right, so we like I said, we're going long from here on out. There's so much to talk about all the time, but it wouldn't be Haken without Haken's Islander Corner. So for those of you who don't know, every single week we ask a question on Patreon to our supporters and read some of their answers out loud here. So this week's question was, are you going to look up guides to buy art or try to spot differences and guess the correct piece? And I actually want to open this up to both of you first. I feel like we all kind of said it, though. Nina, what are you doing?
I've seen a lot already of the guide for the art. Sorry, I just lost all my words.
That's all right.
So I think I'm gonna stop looking. Like some things are stuck in my brain, and I'm gonna know what to look for. But I also, took a bunch of art history classes in college, so I kind of want to try to do it from now on by myself.
That's awesome. What about you, Sergio?
Yeah, I haven't looked at anything, and I'm just gonna try to take my time to study the pieces, even the ones that I'm not gonna buy that time, just to take a look and then see if they look different next time.
Mm-hmm.
Just take my time. I'm kind of gonna hold it against Red if he swindles me, which I'm sure he will, right? So
He'll getcha.
It's just a matter of when. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just, I probably got swindled today. I don't know if I picked the right one, but you know what? It's the one I got, and it's mostly because it was the one where I was like, yeah, I want to put this up in my house, even if it's fake. So send it my way.
That's a good way to go into it. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, I am really glad, like, I did see, like I was talking about, somebody, Drama posted, like, a picture of two of them that were slightly different colors. I don't know which one was the right colors, even. So I honestly don't know what the differences are. I think we'll just see if I can get some right here and there. I know Jackie picked one yesterday. She ended up picking one that was correct. It was real. She was actually a little bit bummed that it was real because she was like, I kind of wanted it for my home. So funny situations like that happen all the time, Cool. So let's actually go back and forth. I guess we'll go Nina, Sergio, then me on these answers.
All right. Okay, so our first one is Nikki Coburn. She says, I copied a list of their real life names of the artwork so I could look up a picture of the real one and try to figure it out myself. I used a guide last time, and I wanted to do it for myself this time.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I like the idea of looking at the real one.
Yeah. I do too. It's because, like, you don't really get to see, like, this is the first time in the game that I noticed, like, the actual name of the piece was referenced and the actual artist who made it was referenced,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it was a really cool thing, and I feel like seeing people actually get to learn about them and be able to look at the real pieces of art, maybe you find out where they're being exhibited or where they're on display,
Yeah.
Because that's a cool thing. The funny story with Starry Night is Jackie always wanted to see that as a kid. She went over on a trip to Europe when she was young, and they went to the Vincent van Gogh Museum, and she was like, do they have Starry Night? And they're like, oh no, that's in New York. And she was like, let's get out of here. But, she did eventually make it to New York to see that piece. But yeah, It's really cool. If there's something you want to see, it's somewhere in the world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you really like the movement, or if you really like the artwork, then you can look up the movement it's part of and maybe find some new pieces that you'll like too.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So the next answer is by Kakulu, and they said, I like bringing up an image of the real world art and then making the comparisons. I'm not quite savvy enough or an art connoisseur to know all the artworks from memory. Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. Sometimes you gotta take the approach that works for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also kind of wonder like how accurate the pieces are to the real art, because I guess I don't necessarily look at them in that perspective, like side by side, like Animal Crossing art, real art, Um,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite things about that is like somebody on their development team is charged with like recreating that masterpiece in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
wonder if they have like an art restoration degree or something.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh my goodness. Jackie and I kind of squirm at, I forget what piece it was, kind of maybe a year to maybe a little bit longer, but somebody tried to restore a piece on their own and it did not go well.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we see it and we're just like, oh no, what happened? A priceless artifact lost forever.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad for I'm squirming right now for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next answer is from Alpacachino Mike, and they said, I'm totally looking up the guides. I've tried to figure it out by myself in the past. Let's just say my pockets have felt the sting of Red Scam too many times. I get that too, like they can be expensive. It can add up, and it can really, where it adds up is really just the amount of time that it
Yes.
takes to
Yeah.
just finish out that exhibit. It's always the last one that's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we love Red so much.
I love them. I love getting a good scam.
Yeah. So B says, I always look for the guides, but I think I'll try to wing it this time. I'm an adult and a graduate and an aspiring artist. I should actually try, huh?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a lot of good reasons to do it.
Yeah. Nice. So Olivia T said, I'm not going to kid myself. I already know I'll be using the guide. I dislike Red and his fake painting so much that I'm willing to cheat my way through this section of the game. He won't catch me out.
She's cheating him right back.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna out cheat the cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
That's-
do it. Why not?
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. So JL Scotty said, since Red doesn't come every day, I'll definitely check a guide to be safe that I'm buying a genuine piece of art. I don't want to waste an opportunity when he is here by buying a fake. Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's really the biggest worry for a lot of people, I'm feeling. Like, just knowing that there was probably a real piece of art there and I happened to get the fake one, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I can feel the disappointment that I'm going to feel tomorrow when it happens.
When it happens. Oh, man. All right, Julie says, Red is one of my favorite characters, and I'm happy he's been added to the game now. For the last painting, I bought, I used a guide and still got it wrong.
Oh.
I think I'll honestly just play it by ear and see if I feel confident picking out the real art.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, you guys, it is so subtle this time. There's some really hard ones.
Oh.
I can't wait. I really can't wait because like I've seen him once at this point, and I'm taking my screenshots of the pieces, and I'm just waiting for that day where I'm like, okay, I have 2 screenshots. Let's take a look at both of them, see which one is different, or if they're different, can I spot it? It just feels like a really exciting spot the difference game to me. So I'm really excited about it. Also, super side note here, but this game has been out a month now, and it is already like more. It is the most amount of pictures and videos that I have for any game. Like, it already is the amount of the rest of my pictures. It's way further than that amount.
Oh yeah, I bought a micro SD card, and I'm so glad I did that beforehand because it's like halfway full.
Honestly, I need to start
wow.
looking at mine. Like, I have a pretty large SD card. Like, I have 400 gigabytes, but I can just see it now. It's gonna be, it's got to be full by now.
Nice. And the last answer for this week is by Honey Oceans. And they said, I told myself I wasn't going to use a guide, but here we are. I pulled up to Jolly Reds and could only notice one fake. I just knew I was missing something. The art wing of the museum looks too bare for me to make silly mistakes. I pulled up a guide out of paranoia. Turns out 3 of the 4 pieces I got were always real. My paranoia will never die, so my strategy is guess on my own first, then check the guide to pat myself on the back for being initially right.
That's so good.
That's a great approach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that way you get like the intensity of possibly being
Yeah.
wrong, but then don't have to
Yeah.
suffer the consequences for it. Yeah. And that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So apparently 3 of the 4 pieces can be real, which is, pretty good odds for a person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not too bad.
That's when you need to call your friends over.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how these things work, because I've heard from people like there can be 0 pieces that are real in his shop. So that's like, that's a
Oh.
bummer for the person who gets that at that point.
Yeah.
But, maybe you just have a piece of art there that you really like and you want to have displayed in your home. So you can still get something out of it, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Nina, first show, pretty exciting, right? Technically
Yes,
4th,
always.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, I got like little fuzzy feelings. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no, we're really glad to have you. I think this is a lot of fun. I think you're definitely adding a lot to the show, so we're happy to have you on the team.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description, and you can talk with people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio, me, and Nina. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering Haken and all things Chewy Plays. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show, and I recently posted the latest Haken Monthly, so if you haven't signed up or looked at it yet, you can get a sneak peek of the artwork that's going to be revealed next week. Tuned in on YouTube, the comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. Are you going to look up guides to buy art, or try to spot the differences and guess the correct piece on your own? If you dig what you hear, please KK slide over to that review section on your platform of choice. Let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chewy, Sergio, Nina, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you guys next time.